Happy Black History Month. I'm back with more real estate related history that directly impacts us. I said this deserved its own post. Ever wonder why some neighborhoods seem to have a liquor store on every single corner? Well, it's directly tied to something called redlining. Redlining can be defined as a discriminatory practice that consists of the denial of access to financial services like loans, insurance, mortgages, to residents in certain areas based on their race or ethnicity. President Roosevelt's New Deal in the 1930s came with reforms that were meant to provide relief to Americans who were suffering because of the Great Depression. Some agencies were created during this time to determine investment risks in cities so banks could determine where loans should be given out. Regions were divided by color, literally, on a map by an organization called the Homeowners Loan Corp. And then this was taken on by the Federal Housing Administration, or FHA, then the Veterans Administration, or VA, and the least desirable areas were red. Yes, that is where we got redlining. The underwriting manual of the Federal Housing Association at the time actually said incompatible racial groups should not be permitted to live in the same communities, meaning loans to Black Americans could not be insured. Property values were also manipulated, and access to loans was of course limited, so many Black and other people of color were forced to rent from price gouging landlords, and this was also when many housing projects went into development. Sound familiar? Other conditions and restrictions were created, like saying that a buyer could not open up a liquor store in a certain area or sell property to members of specific ethnic groups. Although redlining is prohibited because of the Fair Housing Act of 1968 and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act of 1974, we're still heavily impacted by it today. It's a factor in the vast racial wealth gap. Residents in these areas have higher rates of asthma, diabetes, heart disease, and a lower life expectancy due to environmental hazards and limited access to care. And a lot of these environmental hazards is often because there's more industrial pollution, higher temperatures, and less green space. Think of these AI data centers that are being built in predominantly Black and low-income neighborhoods. Reminder to chill a little bit on the GPTs and the Claudes and such. Think about who it's impacting. There's also community disinvestment, which means that there's a withdrawal of capital in a neighborhood, so that leads to poor housing, fewer amenities, less banks, grocery stores that can lead to food deserts, and higher rates of crime. There are now, at least in California, a couple down payment assistance programs that you're only eligible for if you purchase in predominantly Black and brown neighborhoods. More info on that on the next post because they're available right now.